Hi guys, this is Jeff at Slavens Racing. This video is about how to shorten the shock, which is going to obviously shorten the seat height. It's going to shorten the seat height about 30 millimeters, 25 millimeters, 25.4 is an inch. So I don't know what that works out to be. It's about 1.125, I guess, somewhere in there. And it's just this piece, these pieces right here, these two split pieces. They've got a pins that locate them. And so the first thing you need to do is take these instructions and throw them in the trash or shred them because they are absolutely horrible. I've rebuilt thousands and thousands of shocks. If you follow those instructions, you're going to degrade the performance of your shock. It's going to be full of air. It's going to have a ton of air in the oil. They tell you to pull this piece out, drain all the oil out, and then pour oil back in there. I mean, that's ridiculous. You can't do it that way. I mean, you shouldn't do it that way. It's a horrible way to do it. So the very first thing you need to do is remove the nitrogen. See, this is 4 millimeter. Yep, 4 millimeter Allen. Just let it sit there until you hear it stop, putting it out. Still got a little bit left in there. I loosen that up with my ratchet, obviously. From there, you need to, back up. So now you need to measure there's a floating piston in here, and you need to measure the height of it. So you can put it back to that same position. Well, this is the tool that I have. It's a factory shock tool, and it's got an O-ring on it that's used as an indicator, a marker. But you could use a screwdriver or a welding rod and just push it all the way in and then make a measurement on the rod with a magic marker. And then that's where you need to put the piston back. And you'll see later towards the end of this video what I'm doing there. You might also want to use calipers, the tail end. This is called the tail end. Stick them down in there. Take a measurement. This one's 112.35. All right, so nitrogen is out. We're ready to remove the cap here. You just need to use a little punch like this and a small hammer. I use this hammer 90% of the time in my shop. I hardly ever grab a big hammer. So when you do this, tap this up and do not keep tapping it until it's all the way out. Tap on the other side as well. If you just tap on one place here until it pops out, you do have the potential of cracking the shock body. I've seen that happen. All right, so that's up. If you want this out of your way, you could put a clothespin on here to hold it up. Then you can just take a big screwdriver. Get out of the way of the camera here. Push the seal head down. I just pushed it down, I don't know, less than 1/2 inch. And then you can just take a small screwdriver like this. There's a circlip in here, and you just have to push the circlip down, and then it will come out of its groove. The groove has a sharp edge on the top and a rounded edge on the bottom, so it's made to just be pushed down. And then when you do that, you can pull it right out. From there, you gotta put this piece in, the Zeta piece. For you guys that are sensitive about where products are made, I'm pretty sure these are made in Japan. So this kit comes with these two split pieces and this O-ring. This O-ring has to be slid down over the clevis. You can stretch it out, maybe. Yep, there we go. Pull it down over. I've kind of got a bunged up hand right now, guys, so I'm kind of clumsy. My left hand is not working right. I broke it and it's not healed all the way yet. Then bring it down over here. Okay, so now you're ready for this piece. you can see that there's writing on here that goes up to where you can read it. So I'm going to just hold that there. And there's a pin on one side and a hole on the other side. So this side it's got the same, so you can't put them together wrong. And you just have to put that O-ring around it. If you can see that, there's the O-ring in the groove. That just holds the two halves together. And then you can push them down in here. Like I said, my hand is not working. My left hand is really bad right now. So I'm going to push it down with this. So I'm going to pull this out of the vise so you can just see it sitting in there. So maybe you can see that it's sitting down in there. You can read the letters so that you know you have it in right. Pop this clip in. Use your screwdriver, pull it up a little bit, make sure you got it in the groove. You hear it snap into place, and then you can check it with the screwdriver, see if you can pry it up out of there. If you can't, it's in its groove. Then this needs to be tapped back in. I prefer that you use like a dead blow hammer, but I'm going to do it with this. It's what I've got sitting on the bench. And do it as I did there. Tap a little on each side, back and forth. Okay, now that piece is in there. So the thickness of that piece has pushed the piston in here up. So now the piston is out of position. And it's actually, so now that would change the oil to gas ratio. Also has the potential of the piston when you bottom of it hitting hard on the inside of the tank, causing damage. You don't want to do that. So basically it's overfilled with oil right at the moment. So the next step is to remove this. And all WP shocks have this Allen bolt in here. And it does not always come out easily. So make sure you have a really good, new, shiny, strong Allen. I believe it's a 5. Yep. Put this end in the vise. That one came out pretty well, pretty easy. If you use a long Allen, oh, it's really difficult because the Allen will twist and then this does not want to come out. Sometimes you even have to take a brass punch, a brass drift, and hit on this really hard to impact, to loosen it up. Just going to remove this, and some oil is going to come out. Not much right at the moment because there's no pressure on it. Then I'm going to take my tool that's already set at the right location. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyhow, it's showing me here that I need to push it in about, I don't know, 20, 25 millimeters. When I do that, I'm going to see if I can get the camera around here where you guys can see this a little bit better. So you can see I've got that tool inside the reservoir. I'm going to push on the piston. And when I do that, fluid's going to come out of this hole. It's not going to get any air in the oil this way because I'm pushing oil out. I'm not sucking anything in. So I'm going to push this in until this O-ring that I have on here is up to the shock body. And if you've got a piece of welding rod you're doing this with, or however you're doing it, just take it up until your marker. I'm going to push this in. You should kind of hold on this carefully because sometimes they start out, it's hard to push them, and then all of a sudden they go. And if that happens, you're going to squirt out way too much oil. Then you're kind of in over your head at that point. So be careful here, just push on it gently. You can see the oil dripping out there. Now it's moving pretty easily. Okay, so I got it where I want it. Now it's time to put that bolt back in. There's plenty of oil around the hole here, so there is no extra air getting in the system. I'm going to tighten this down. I have no idea what torque spec is, and I don't care. I'm just going to tighten it. So now it's done. That part of it is. I'm going to have to change the camera back so you guys can see. So from there you put the Allen back in here. Then you take it to your dealer and have them recharge it to 150 psi of nitrogen. I didn't go over this on how to remove the spring because I have a separate video on how to do that, which you're welcome to watch. It's pretty easy. It's actually very easy. So, just to review here, let the nitrogen out. We push the seal head down. We put the Zeta piece in. Then we went over here, removed this oil bolt, and then we pushed the piston. Or actually, before we did that, we measured the piston location. Then after we put the bolt back in, before we put the bolt back in, we moved the piston with our tool and relocated it to the correct location. Then we put that bolt back in, back over here. Can't quite tell what it is here. That's just right up in here, sorry. And then it's time to put nitrogen in, put the spring back on. It's really pretty quick and simple for me. I don't think it'd be too bad for you guys. It would be horrible if you follow those instructions. We've sold a lot of these things and I've never looked at those instructions. I'm surprised we haven't had a million phone calls. The guys must be taking them to their suspension shop or something. So if you have a suspension shop do this, you can see that an experienced suspension guy can do this in just a few minutes. This should be no more than like a $50 charge. And then mount it back up on your bike and you're going to have a lowered rear shock. At that point you need to do something with the front end. We also have kits for the front end for the Explorer forks, also made by Zeta. They're a pretty easy install as well. I'll make a video on those later if I have a chance. I'm not sure that I will. Or you can have your suspension guy put them in. I think that's about it, guys. If you have any questions about this, you can ask below in the comments. And I'll put a description, in the description area, I'll put a link to this Zeta piece so you can find it easily on our site. I think that's about it. As you can see, it didn't take many tools, no special tools really. And lower away, go ride, have a good time. And by the way, lowering your bike this much really doesn't have much of a negative effect. Obviously if you're out pounding big whoops all the time, you shouldn't do this. But for a trail rider that's not doing big jumps and stuff and doesn't mind losing a little bit of his travel, it can be a game changer for guys with shorter legs. You won't have your tip overs. You just won't crash as much. You get your feet on the ground easier, and you'll avoid all those times when your buddy behind you is laughing at you. So I guarantee it will boost your confidence. I've seen it over and over and over with guys that have done this, shorten their travel a little bit, and it just makes a big difference. So it's all for now, guys. Get out and ride.